Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're going to talk about DJI Osmo Nano. So let's dive deep into it. Now this puppy is DJI's offering for mini cameras. I have no idea, there is no technical name for these sort of camera. Basically they are miniature action camera. You can't say pill camera because there is an actual medical device that is a pill camera. So the idea is a camera that is a bit smaller than action camera. Not too much smaller, but like smaller. Why? But that's up to you. But people want that. And again, this is becoming apparently interesting enough that companies are selling it. So this is DJI's offering. Now DJI did try something similar to this with this puppy, but this was like their Action 2. It was unique approach rather than just having exactly copy paste of basically GoPro design. They had something unique there. So assume this is basically upgrades into this puppy. It's bigger, and they are saying they have big sensor. Now let that be very clear, because you're talking about a miniature action camera, you have limitation, as in no matter what you do, you can't have giant sensors are tiny. And I have no idea why people use the stupid units 1 by 1.3. There is a better metric unit which is called centimeter square. What is the surface area, like how many surface area you have, like that's the only thing that matters. Because be mindful, there are more smartphones that have this and poo quality. So it's not the sensor size, especially unless you are talking about like something very small. And if it's like medium size, medium format, full frame, APS-C, till that point sensor size has a benefit. But once you are going into these sort of number, don't pay attention to it. It's like, is the best they could have done. Like again, it's a small camera, so like physically they could not have fit bigger. So that's there. Now penalty of this design, when you miniaturize an action camera itself, all of them generally have onboard memory rather than SD card. Why? I have no idea, but currently it makes them sealing and all that easier. So they have this. So you are supposed to record everything on onboard memory. Onboard memory will dump into SD card. Thankfully they do support large SD card. This puppy can support up to 1 terabyte, meaning you can have some decent recording. And there are two model available, because again you have onboard recording, so flash memory is embedded. You have 128 gigabyte option and 64 gigabyte option. Now let that be clear, this camera launch was very weird. It's not launched in USA also, let alone India, but somehow it was available in USA Amazon. Like a batch was like sneaked into it or something like that. So $330 for basically 128 gigabyte model, $300 for 64. Do not buy 64 because be mindful, you can't substitute the onboard memory, so you have to get a bigger one. I have no idea why they are even selling 64. And again, price gap is also not big enough to justify it. So that's there. It does have magnetic mount, meaning this puppy has magnets on two sides, and people do like the idea that you can stand it up. It's not like a rounded body where it will fall over, so that may be desirable. You can just stand it somewhere. It has the ability magnet on one side, and magnet is on the bottom and on the back, so you can attach it or clamp it to even a car body or something like that. So those things are there. And this puppy will act as a wireless dock in some scenarios. Not everything you can do with this, and this mode can remain on to conserve power of this puppy. So what sort of specification we are looking at? Well, nowadays it's very common to have basically a normal camera that has full sensor readout. Now, full sensor readout generally is weird simply because we have sensor that is not square. I have no idea why, but we do not have square sensors. It's common in industrial sector where almost all sensors are square. Here it's not. So we have 4:3, which again, you have a circular lens. Why you have 4:3? But you have that 4:3, and benefit of that is compared to normal 4K, if you do 4K 4:3, you get 720 pixels line extra, some in top, some in bottom, meaning now you have more open room. It's literally equivalent of open gate on large cameras. So that's what you're doing. You're capturing the whole sensor. Why? Well, again, GoPro made this very famous idea. It's like you capture it and you can rotate it post-production because you have room, you have wiggle room. Not only you can adjust the basically the vertical horizon line, and you can vertically also move it a bit. And that benefit would be especially if you are planning to push content on multiple platforms, basically YouTube and TikTok or Instagram Reels. That time you will have enough variety. It will not look like, oh, you took the video and cropped it and added it. It will have enough of a oomph where we were like, like this is genuinely different content. Not different as in like different, but like, okay, some effort was put into. People like effort, unless people are eating AI slop at that point in time, God help you. So you have that benefit. But again, it's weird because I think the SoC is too limited. It only goes to 50 FPS. I'm like, why? It's not raw, it's why 50 FPS. So if you want 4K 60 FPS, you have to go to normal 16:9. That was weird. It's like, You really could not push 10 FPS more, like 10 FPS, not 10. So that's there. Thankfully, you do have high speed mode, which is 4K 120 FPS, and you're like, okay, why is this limited? And you can go for, whenever in this sort of camera you go to high speed, it reduces the bit depth by a lot. So you generally have a SoC limitation. Basically, sensor is GG. Sensor does not care. Like, as long as you can cool the sensor, as long as your analog to digital converter can handle it, which most of the time it's embedded in the sensor, you good. You got this. It's the processing that does not work. So the processing pipeline is limited to 120 Mbps. So they somehow have to feed basically 120 Mbps from that sensor itself. Sensor can give you a very high quality result, but that's the difference between normal point and shoot camera and cinema camera. Sensors are same. It's just that giant circuit board that is needed to absorb all the bitrate. So 4K, you can do 120 FPS, or you can go to 1080p and 240 FPS, which again, bandwidth limitation. Look into how people develop a high-speed camera. You'll find it's not the sensor. Sensor has an inherent limitation. You are generally limited much earlier than that because of your slow SoC. So SoC, as long as your SoC can eat it, sensors are like, bro, we good, we got this. So you generally record on camera dumps it on onboard memory. Onboard memory, you have to dump it into your internal SD card. If you do not do that, you will find that 128 GB is not huge. So you will reach a scenario whether you have to delete it on camera or like that's unwise. So always dump it, and be mindful, please use high speed cards, not very cheap cards, because again, that dumping practically it should be going at USB 3.0 speed, so it should be fast enough, but again, realistically speaking, they are only going to give you 80 or 90 Mbps, so it could take a while. And thankfully the USB-C port is also 3.0 compatible, meaning it should give you, based on your SD card, 60, 70, or maybe some very, very fast micro SD card, and if the SoC can actually read it fast enough, 100 Mbps transfer speed. Don't expect that 500 or 600 Mbps is the SD card is the weak link, not the interface. Interface is handshake and up to 600 megabytes per second. So you have that. And again, I do have to say DJI does this well. They actually tell you how much space you have. You get 48 gigabyte of usable space in your 64 gigabyte model and 107 gigabyte in 128 GB model. It's like, well, what the hell? That's simply because the firmware is not stored on some different memory. It's literally on the primary memory itself. So there is a partition. That partition has the operating system, and the remainder is given to you. So most likely, if I open it up, there is a very good chance it's just as one flash chip, not two physical flash chip. So at least they are very clear about it. So that's why do not buy the 64 GB variation. If you want to watch this, buy this. And they are, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they are the first OLED variant, meaning they are finally introducing OLED display. So it's 314 by 556. Is it very good? It's like little bit odd, because be mindful, because of a prevalent of smartwatches, you can get better quality display, but I'm pretty sure those are a bit smaller. So they did their best, and it's like 326 ppi. Remember the good old days of retina display, ppi display. So yeah, it's okay. It's small. Again, you're physically small. It is small, not that great. Thankfully, it is bright, meaning not very bright, but it is bright enough that you can actually, outdoor scenario, you should be able to look into it. So that's the bitrate of 120 Mbps. What does that mean? That simply means divide that number by 8. That gives you 15 megabytes per second. So make sure your SD card is not V10. Do not buy V10. V10 will bro, it will take too long. So you have to buy a card that is V30 minimum. In DJI's own site, they have a list of cards they have tested. All those cards are V30. Try to be V30 or V above than that. And be mindful, even if you this system does not have high speed, you can pull out the card and use a card reader. Card reader can give you much higher speed if this is the limiting unit. So do not cheap out on card. And fast charging, again, common nowadays in DJI cameras, 0 to 80% in 20 minutes. And like, okay, why till 80%? It's lithium chemistry's limitation. It likes, there is a constant current mode, and then there is a constant voltage mode. In constant current, you can dump as much current as you want, as long as it does not overheat. So you can charge very quickly. But to go to 0 to 100%, it will take 1 hour. No matter what you do, it will take 1 hour. It's like, it will take 1 hour. So if you do 20-minute recharge from dead battery, you should get 1 hour of recording time in just 20 minutes. It can do like bit more, like 2 hours pushing it, depending on the bitrate you are using. You should get that. And these two puppy can be separated by 10 meters and still remain functional, meaning you're almost like a line of sight. Do not expect it to be like very whoa kind of system. And be mindful, if you are using DJI microphones wirelessly, this will not work. I mean, like, it will work. It will start recording, stop recording, all those jazz, but it will not show you live display, because I'm pretty sure they are trying to conserve the battery of that system. It has to, if it have to eat data from microphones, put that into video, then transmit again into this, it may be consuming too much horsepower, or it could be just SoC limitation. So what about performance? Now let that be clear, it's not that bad or not that, like, great. It's like, it's average. Now what does that mean? That simply means most action cameras after 2023, they're almost same. They have reached that point. Like, there was a time where it's like, yo, GoPro looked like this, or Insta360 looked like this. GoPro actually had advantage early days where their image stabilization algorithm was genuinely better. Like, others could took time to catch up. But nowadays, especially recent times, all action cameras are the same. Like, even if you're like, oh, this action camera has giant sensor, it's like, it's same. It's same. At best case scenario, for some low light scenario, you might get a little bit better, but not too much. And the primary reason why it's not improving beyond a point is the SoC cost. They can't put high quality Snapdragon SoC, because if they did put that, no one will be able to afford it. So that's the limitation. So quality wise, do not expect it to look like whoa. It will always look like a good. It's good compared to like 10 years ago. It's like good, but don't expect like whoa. Let that be clear, none of the action camera give you a whoa. And the primary limitation is the SoC. Heck, you can have the exact same sensor block, put a giant cinema body behind it, and you're like, whoa, where this quality came from? It's simply because, like, the processing bandwidth, all of those things. It does overheat. For Indian fellows, these are very serious issue. You have to be mindful of that. Again, when you miniaturize so many things, batteries also release heat when they are discharging. SoC releases heat when it's working. Sensors, what we call analog to digital converter, it is releasing heat. So penalty is lots of heat. So you have to be mindful. In small bodies, does not matter who is the manufacturer, it will heat. So you have to be mindful of that. Small clips, regular airflow, GG. If water body, go YOLO. But like, if you're like in Sahara Desert and all that, or Thar Desert, yeah, good luck with that. Fast SD cards is a compulsory requirement, because again, it has to dump from here to here. If you do not want to be hanging on for dear life for that, get a fast SD card. It does support DJI Mic 2. This I have to say that DJI is doing quite well. And again, they have like foresight. All their microphones, like something like this. You have a microphone where they sell you the transmitter alone. Like, you can just buy DJI Mic 3 transmitter alone. I always said, like, what's the point without a receiver? I'm like, oh, I can buy it for this. I can just buy it for this. The end. Go home. That's clever. I have to say, that is clever. So you don't even have to buy the full kit of mics. You can just buy the 2 transmitter. If that's your primary goal, I'm gonna use it with this. Buy 2 of them. Or heck, if you're like a one-man team, buy 1. Like, it's a very low friction way of getting into the ecosystem. That's clever. That is genuinely clever. And it will support 2 channels of that. Now, the one frustrating part of this is because, again, they have to keep the cost down. They waterproof the hell out of this puppy, but not to this. Meaning, this 10 meters water. Meaning, most of the time, your swimming pool should not have any issue with this. It's like, I got this. Even skinny dipping and all that, sea and all that, you should be able to handle. This puppy cannot. Like, this can handle like occasional dips, rain and all that, but not full depth. That is genuinely frustrating and risky, because again, if your habit is there, like you are using it and you just jumped into the pool, kaput. So that's an issue. It does support 10-bit, which again, a big deal, not for action camera, but for pill size cameras, basically small cameras. It is a big deal to have 10-bit at like all the frame rates available. It does have D-Log for D-Log M for color profile. Color profile does not matter that much. If you are willing to actually work on it, you will create your own profile. Once you're done, like correction profile, the end, go home. And image stabilization is decent enough. It's good. Again, after 2023, almost all of them have reached that same point. Be it Insta, be it DJI, be it GoPro. So final question is, for whom this is? Well, realistically, you have to understand there is a law of physics, specifically with heat. Is like, you can't bypass that. No manufacturer can bypass that. So fundamentally, this is small enough. Like I'm used to like Canon 800D, so this is tiny. So if you have to be really sure that do you really need it to go more tiny than this, because again you will have laws of physics bitch slapping you. For example, small non-user replaceable battery is a chemical engine. It will degrade no matter who is the manufacturer of the battery, be it Panasonic, LG or Tesla. The cells will degrade, the separator will go kaput, there will be dendrite formation, it will swell up. These sort of things will happen. You will go from a battery that lasted for 2 hours to a battery that is barely lasting 1 hour. So in this sort of design, it's super easy. Put a new one, go home, done. Or you are doing a long recording session, keep putting new one in, do a long session. So fundamentally, there are a lot of advantages of this sort of design. And no, basically overheating onboard memory is also another thing that wears out physically. Like, it's a solid state, how can it wear out? Yeah, electron gate, there is a dielectric that you are forcing electron through and pulling electron through. Over time it will wear out. You can't put data on your SSD and expect it to work after 50 years. It's not like a CD or DVD. I do have 20-year-old CDs. They are still working because again, they physically did the change state. You have electron gate trapping electron charge. Over time it will rot, which we call bit rot. So those things will also wear out. In this, it will wear out much slower. Why? Because only the firmware is on the board and the actual heavy read-write operation is happening on the micro SD card, which you will change. So fundamentally, just from a longevity point of view, meaning if you buy the same price, let's just say $300, you buy these puppy versus that tiny puppy, you will find this can last for 5-10 years without too much hassle. But again, you are expected to buy multiple batteries, but it will work. The micro one is like, no, and not to mention the battery cannot be replaced, so user replaced. So it is a difficult thing unless you have to have small system. And be mindful, it's not a corporation limitation. It does not matter who is manufacturing it, it will always have device overheated, recording stopped. No matter who is manufacturing it, it will happen. So unless you are damn sure, unless you are in a very cramped environment where this is too big, only then look into this sort of camera. That's like law of physics level thing. I'm not talking about like from a oh, this brand has not sorted it, like no. And even if, what if some company put a lot of, what if Apple made it, still would be the same problem. Meaning if Apple can make a good camera at this, they will make an amazing camera at this scale. Law of physics, it cannot be bypassed. So it is very poor price to performance ratio. So you have to be mindful of that. And normal action camera still is better, like flat out. Buying this sort of thing would be, and again you can see like it has a screen on both sides, and again it also has all the features. Some even have like time code and all that. So it's not desirable to have like super duper tiny cameras. Like if you need it, cool, but like unless you need specifically that tiny camera, don't go for it. So this was my presentation on DJI's new micro camera. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show my extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.